Go.
Well, hey you guys, sorry it took so long to get back, but once this series is done, you'll be able to click from one to the other, to the other, to the other. Tammie dolls, step 1. All right, so, and we may be doing step 2 as well, because we're gonna take care of the back this time. If you did go ahead and purchase a Tammie doll, you're gonna find that this is not, that's why I have it against, maybe on your screen it may look black, but once you get it home, and you look at it against something white, because that'll show the true color and the true tone, it's more like a blue-brown. It's more like a 3NN, all right? So if you look at the product chart, let me move it over here. If you look at the product chart, blue-brown, blue, blue, yellow, and red. Then the number 2, black. Many times the color black is labeled as a number 2. And then that's blue, red, and yellow. Of course, all in the darkest form. And then finally blue, black. So blue and then blue, red, yellow. You know that makes those colors. It's increased pigment and it's darker. It's not those pastel shades. So those are the strongest colors. But when we take this formula, so in this color that looks like black could still have this much pigment. How many blues? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, that doesn't count. 4, because that's on that formula. I'm sorry. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 blues. And remember, that's the darkest blue. How many reds do we have? 1, 2, 3. Reds, 3. How many yellows do we have? 1, 2, 3. 3 yellows. So you can see that orange and blue make black, brown, white, gray. That's the result you're going to get. The biggest factor is we have a lot more, we have one more level of blue in there. And what does it take? Does blue have red in it? Yes. Does blue have yellow in it? Yes, because it cannot be blue without the others. That's understanding, having a complete understanding of pigment strength. So and we have 3 areas of red. So that says the red itself is in a good solid area. And remember, if the red is down there, and it's at the level 2, look at the areas of deposit. When you look at the client, that's what's in there. When you look at the deposit on the number 2, which is 11 there, that's 11 levels of deposit in that red. If you have your sheets that I've shown you how to write that down before, look at it. Just look at it, or look at the first phase that we had on the Tammie doll, and it will cover every bit of that. Oh, and by the way, sorry about that mistake on the yellow and blue. I didn't. I'll show you later. So anyways, so you can see that we have a lot of pigment in there. Where here on the product it says levels of lift. So that just means how much has come off, but nobody tells us what's in there. How much do we have as resistance? So we have a lot of blue pigment here. So what I'm going to do with this, because I'm going to go ahead and color this area here, area number 4. Yep, I've got them numbered because I kept forgetting which one it was. So this is area number 4. This is 3, this is 1, and this is 2. All right, so number your mannequins that way so we're all speaking the same language at the same time. So what I'm going to do, instead of taking it and putting lightener all over it, because I want to color this one too. This one I'm going to lift, this one I'm going to deposit. All right, so I'm going to use foils to lighten it, because otherwise I'd have to lighten it, put the lightener on it, put a bagger, and then put her under the dryer. I don't want to do that. I want to move forward with this. And all we want to do anyways is remove. We want to control the color that we're removing. If we put her under the dryer and you're gone 5 minutes longer maybe than you should have, it's popped up another level. The level that we've decided to take it to is between a 6 and 7 product. I'm sorry if I'm in front of it, you guys. On product, 6 and 7 right here. And look at all that red. We're going to keep it from being red. We're going to keep it, make it a true brown color. 6 is the lightest shade of brown. Lightest shade of brown, darkest shade of blonde. 7 is just before you get there. It's in the true gold area. You see red gold. Look at the 2 levels of red right there. In the gold, it's a lighter red. Well, it's increasing and becoming stronger. More red pigment has been put in it. So a level 7, if we want it to be a 6, but we want it to be brown, and we don't want it to look gold or red. We want it to look like a true shade of brown, where it could almost be mistaken for a 5, but we don't want it to be still yet a red-brown. We want it to be a slightly ashy brown. And you're saying, well, all you have to do is go to the color wheel for that. Yeah, you can. You can. But what color are you going to use? So, you know, knowing this, you know, what developer are you going to use? Because it's that tone of color, which is what we're talking about, that's going to drive you nuts. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and get started with this. I'm just going to foil weave it, and I'm going to overlap it. I'm going to put a foil here. All right, I'm kind of working a little crooked because I'm trying to let you guys watch, but I've got to take it all the way to the scalp. Bring it down, all the way up to the scalp. Make sure I get enough of it up there without touching the other side. It does have a little bit of a gap on the Tammie Manikin, which really helps. But your subsections are going to have to be real thin. 1/8 of an inch. You know what? You see the very end of your tint brush? That's 1/8 of an inch. Don't make it wider than that. So like that. Now what I'm going to do, instead of folding it, overlap it. Because when lightener becomes dry, what happens with it? It stops working. We want this to keep working without having to use heat or anything else. So when I take this down, I'm going to use my tint brush and very, very gently go in, and see, you can see right through that. So you see, that's going to take a lot of foils to do this. But it's much easier because while this is processing, then I'm going to put color on the other one to deposit. So on this side we're lifting, on the other side we're going to deposit. Remember, this is artificial color. We have no idea what this mannequin's natural color was. As far as we know, they do use, you know, the history or the reference to it out there is that they use Middle Eastern hair or Asian hair, which is very dark black, but still this isn't as dark a black as what I've seen on that type of hair. It looks more like a level 3 and in other words, blue-brown. So I'm just going to do this. We'll be back. I should have all of this finished when you come back, and I'll have the color applied on this side. And you already know how to apply color. I'm just going to apply it and make it a little bit darker. I don't have to overlap, but on the lightener, I don't want it to get dry. I want it to stay wet so that it keeps working. All right, so we'll see you in a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, you guys can see, look at how thin. You should be able to see the foil through that. Let me turn it a bit so you can get a better view of this. So you should be able to see the foil through that. Now, I do want to show you something, and get down to the scalp, because what's going to happen if you don't, you're going to get some little dark pieces. And some of the hair might be a little bit longer than the foil, unless you've got those roll foils, whatever, that you can make them really long, but I hate wasting them like that because those are a little more expensive. But you can see that we've got the lightener all the way through, and put this out of the way. And I braided the hair out of the way, or else you'd end up with a bunch of little pieces. So you have to braid that other hair completely out of the way. All right, so I'm going to put this there. Now, you notice some of the hair on the bottom. Remember what happens when lightener dries? Stops working. So I'm just going to slap a piece of foil on there. Give it just a little more to make sure it's moist. There you go. And I've already used over 20 foils on this, so I'm sure I'm going to at least use 30 foils on it. But look at that hair. You almost, I mean, I don't know how you can see it on your screen. That's the variable here. But I can almost see like a violet tone to it. But what I want to show you, my sister's son is pretty much American Indian. And I want to show you this. I think you can see it. This is the mannequin's hair. Can you see a variable? This young man has definitely got blue-black hair. That's his natural color, and this is the color of the mannequin. I'm hoping that you can see what I'm trying to show you. Can you see that all right, cameraman? Or
I
is
blew
that...
it up.
Okay. So, anyways, you can see that it is just a slight lighter than what black would be. And yeah, I do. Why am I not wearing gloves? I just have been doing this too long. But anyways, you can see that, and he's definitely, if you saw his hair on his head, he's got blue-black hair. And this is more like a blue-brown. So do you see where tone of color, where this looks black against that? But when you really get to looking at it, you look at that tone of color, all right? So I'm going to finish this up, and this should lift to possibly a gold. Let's cross our fingers on it. I may have to touch up a little bit, won't do it, you guys won't see me do it, but every once in a while there's still a few little black spots on a mannequin, they drive you nuts, but I'll touch that up to make it all look uniform and even. But it should come up pretty kind of like a orange gold, not quite like the number 2 side. This is definitely almost a golden brown, but yet very golden brown. So it's about a level 7. Where we're going to take it is between a 6 and 7, so that means it would be darker than this, but not red. All right? We want to make it look kind of like don't want to make it look ashy, just kind of like a neutral brown, almost like a violet brown. Very soft, without too much dullness, and yet not a lot of brightness. All right, so I'm going to finish this. On this side, I'm going to use, because I want to add pigment, but I don't want to take it to the pigment. If I take it to the pigment, it'll be too much. So can I take it to the pigment? Yes, I can. I can just use 10 volume, deposit only color, a semi-permanent color, put it on there. Use a level, go ahead and use a level 6, see what happens, but it's going to be gold. So anyways, we'll be back. Oh, by the way, I don't want to forget, I push my book. Please. It's got some good information on there. It's about the salon. Really would love it if you guys would purchase it. It's not that expensive. It's just a small book, and you can get it through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, several places that it's out there. But it's rated 4-star. It's good stories. Those of you that are stylists, you'll live it. You know it. That's exactly what we go through. All right? So I'll be back. I'll have this finished, and I'll have the color applied on this side. You guys know how to apply color, so I don't have to tell you how to do that. But then we're going to give it about 25-30 minutes overall for both. And then I will be, I'll shampoo one, leave the foils on, and then I'll shampoo the other one or whatever. Let's see what happens. All right, see you in a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, you can see we're back, taking the foils off. Now, remember, had 4 areas of blue. 3 areas of red, 3 areas of yellow. What's left? And what left? Blue left. It's the first color to leave. Remember, the personality character of blue states what? Guards and protects. In other words, keeps that color on, depending on your own pigment strengths. How much blue you have within your body, and how much red, because personality character of red states grabs and holds on, so that holds it. But now, how we're going to take these colors, and I didn't put it on here because it would have bled through, and I thought, you know what, it's not worth it, we'll just wait. But look at those different colors that we've got. Now I'm getting ready to, I'm going to give you the formula that I'm putting here. You're going to use your own color product. And this is what I've always made the statement, you've got to know your product. What does it do? What does it have in it? How much strength does it have? Part of what I've been using is just L'Oreal color. It's just stuff that I've got here, so I thought, well, I'm just going to use it. But pretty much any color line within those realms, these realms, product, that's its internal structure. That's what it's got inside. How it changes, so how do we take this yellow gold and level 9 and make it into a beige? Well, we add blue to it. Where's blue? What's in the blue? Violet. You're going to add violet to it, because if you put blue into it, yellow and blue make what? So this is what I'm telling you. Put the color wheel in your brain. Know the results of what happens when you mix whatever you mix to combine to create color. I'm hoping that those of you students that if you're students watching this, that you do take the time, if you have Tammie Manikins, and your teachers know enough about color, make it all one color. What do you look for? This is going to be the best exercise you're going to do. And then if you want to afterwards, foil weave it and see what happens. By that time, you're already going to know what's going to happen. I mean, this is fried, but still, you're going to know what's going to happen. Now, the thing that we're going to cover quite a bit in doing this, now I'm going to share with you guys, this is probably going to take me 2 to 3 days to finish this tape. But it's only going to be maybe 30, 45 minutes for you. Do ask questions on it. Give me results of what you did. Send me pictures of what you did and what you got. All right? I want to see you guys working on this because color is the market. The more you know about it, the better off you're going to be. But the main thing is, the color wheel gives you a direction, but it doesn't give you a result. If you know color, you then have a very good idea of the results you're going to get before you're done. And it's going to be, you're going to find 99% of the time, it's going to be tone of color that's going to just knock it off the shelf just a little bit. So what I'm going to do now, and you can see, right, because blue left, so what did it end up? It's very orange, isn't it? Red and yellow make what? Orange. Now look at it now. This looked so much brighter into that orange realm before. It looked a lot more copper-ier than it does now. And now it almost looks slightly next to this color. Do you see how color reflects color? Before it was, because it was so dark, it was diluting some of that out. Now it looks almost like a slightly brownish, almost like a golden brown as opposed to that true copper color that we saw earlier. So it's amazing what the blending also does. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply, let me loosen this right here, I think, because I want her head to lean forward. There you go. All right, a little bit. Anyways, I'm going to start at the bottom. Normally, the way I apply colors, I start here and bring it over. I was going to put a foil back up there, but I thought, you know what? I'm not leaving any room whatsoever for error. So I've got my towel here. I'm going to put a piece of foil in this area to protect it as well, so that it doesn't bleed onto the skin. You guys know how that happens. I mean, if you've ever had experiences with that. So like this, it'll just get on the towel. We're not going to worry about it. Let's see that. No, oh, darn it. Okay, start over. I should have put the other clip on it, and I'm going to put the other clip on it. It holds it better, holds it tighter. Those duckbills don't hold it as tight as those butterfly. There it is. There you go. Squeeze it in there nice and tight. All right, now I'm going to put that foil on there. Don't fall down. Don't make it difficult for me. And let me show you something. I mean, I'm being totally honest with you guys on this. I don't know if you can see it or not, but do you see where there's still a little bit of a dark line there? I'm going to leave it alone. It's not enough to worry about. It's just a little bit of a dark line. It's inside. It's not necessarily going to show on the outside. Otherwise, I would have gone in and then touched this up just a little more with lightener. And by the way, if you have lightener left over, do not throw it away. Once it dries, it stops working. So we may need to do a soap cap. So I saved my lightener. Oh, and by the way, what was the one thing you saw on that lightener that was necessary to lift and possibly remove as much gold? It's supposed to. but this is chemically treated. When it's chemically treated, it's different. One thing I am going to do with my lightener, that one piece of black hair that I had, I am going to wrap it up in a foil. I meant to do that earlier. And let's see what that does. Let's see how much that lifts, because that's natural color. This is color treated. And those are the differences. That's why you've got to know what happens when I mix it. But anyways, what we're going to do is, I'm just going to leave that alone, but I'm going to start from the bottom, clip this up, and just start applying. And then I'm going to, make sure and get it in there really good. And you notice now I am wearing gloves because I am putting it on my hands. And the color formula, by the way, I've just got to talk to you about that too. I'm using 7 GB. So where is that area of 7 on the chemicals? Red gold. All right? But it says GB, so that means gold blonde. That means there's a slight area of blue in it. It's not just necessarily going to be a golden color, but it's going to be blonde. I've also got an 8G, a color lighter, to replace the gold that is no longer in there. You have to put back what was taken out. So I'm not going darker with it because I don't want to increase that pigment. I just want to put it back. So I'm adding a little bit of 8Gs. This was about, okay, let's say the whole head, 3 ounces of this, a ½ ounce of this, and then an 8 cool enforced. That tells me that 8, in the area of 8, is not necessarily blue, but in the violet tones. So, and the word cool enforced means that it's a little bit cooler color. So it's got an ash color in it. So I'm hoping, and what happens when you mix blue and gold? Black, brown, white, or gray, depending on how dark it is and the level of combinations. So I'm going to do this. We're going to leave it on for about 25-30 minutes. And let's see what we got. I guarantee nothing. All right? I'll see you guys in a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, this is pretty cool. You know how I've said many times, you've got to know your product. Okay, I'm using just L'Oreal color. Normally when I've had salons in the past, we've had like 7 different color lines, just because they all do something a little bit different. Now, remember, we used 7 GB, in other words, gold blonde. What it tells us is that blonde creation, because remember, you create blonde, yellow and violet, red and green, blue and orange. Well, to get rid of gold, you've got to use blue. Blue and orange make brown. Well, this had to be definitely, the blonde in here was blue, yellow, and red in its creation. In other words, blue and orange. If it would have been, if the blonde would have been a gold blonde with red or yellow and violet, it might have been just a little warmer. Red and green, well, it's got a lot of red in there too. So that would be the warm one. So it gives us a real good range as far as that cool ash really did something. That cool enforced really did something. So it's amazing. This is about a level 7, but it's definitely a little bit ashy. Now this is another thing that's strange. And yet good in a way, because we didn't have to fight gold in this. We just added color and created color. All right? We didn't, on these other ones, especially here, we're going to have to deal with gold. But what did it tell us? Oh my God, use that infused cool as just as a hint of it to bring that color combination down. So we see that infused cool, how is it made? What's put together to create that? So cool enforced. So it must be blue violet based. So look at all the blues in there. There's one there, another one there, another one there. So again, we're up to 3 areas of blue, 2 of red, and only 1 of yellow. So you see that it definitely, if you've got that, let's calculate it. So we've got how many, let me take this off because we were already done with that. as far as what we did on that first one. Okay, so we've got blue and orange. All right, on this shade of brown. Gold, okay? Yellow plus red. We know that. Gold, yellow plus red. All right? Cool infuse, blue, violet. Blue, blue, sorry, that's lowercase, blue plus red. So it's blue, violet. And in order for that to be brown, got that there. Gold, brown. I feel like I'm missing something here. Oh, this other blue. Yeah. Okay, so blue, blue, violet, but then that was still the base, and then one more blue, violet. Okay, blue, violet, and then again, that's the base. So we're increasing that area by blue. So what have we got? All these blues, and that blue right there is going to what? Get rid of this and create a shade of brown. Because blue and orange, blue and orange, blue and orange make brown. And then blue and red make violet. Do you see what I'm talking about? If you know how color is made, if you know how it's produced to come together to be color, then you get results. Then you that's why I said put the color wheel in your brain. At least have an idea. And then use the color wheel as a guide. Now, what are we going to do with this? Because this is so close to what we want. We still want it, we don't want it. That definitely doesn't have red in it, definitely doesn't have gold in it. It's a true, neutral, it's an ash. Definitely an ash color. So these color combinations, they just work if you know what to put together to get a result. Here's the question. We've got to make it a little bit darker. So I'm thinking along the lines, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to use a 6N. Remember, we want to take it between 6 and 7. So I'm just going to use a 6N and see what happens. The thing that's amazing about this part of it is we're just depositing, therefore creating. On these others, what's going to happen, we're going to be combining to create color. So what do you suppose we need to use here? Because this is definitely a kind of like a copper brown, copper red, and it's got a hue of brown in there. What I'm going to do, we're going to close out, we're not going to stop the class, but tomorrow what we're going to do is we're going to take this mannequin outside, because like I said, this class is going to take me several days to do for you. Maybe I'll probably get it done, hopefully done by tomorrow. But for you, it's only going to be a certain amount of, an hour at the most. For me, it's going to take a lot longer because I've had to process, I've had to lift right here. But it's amazing, can you believe this used to be black? And it isn't anymore. Now it's orange, so what? Blue left. So again, know what happens with color. What do we have to do here? We've already got yellow. Would we be safe in using the same formula for this one? Hard to say, but we can find out. We can use the same formula because how close is this to white? Remember, yellow comes from white to be yellow. Yellow is white. This was taken to white. This is yellow. It may come out just a little bit darker because it's got pigment in it, but let's try it tomorrow. Let's try on section number 1 to see if we can use the exact same formula that we used on the other one. Well, I wrote it down, but there it is. So 7GB, 8G, and a little bit of the 8 cool and forced. Let's try it there and see how well we blend, but I really feel like it's definitely going to be a little bit darker. But are we getting to what we want to achieve? We're trying to make it all one color within the level of 6, no warm tones. Definitely got it here. Let's see what happens here. And then the true challenge, might have to soap cap this, because if we take it, this one's already at about a 6. This one needs to go there. So what do we need to use here to take it to the same tone, same color throughout? And the thing that's gonna mess us up the most in all of it when we come back and talk about it is that slight tone of color. It's gonna be just a little bit off every time. How do we make it perfect? That's what we wanna work on. So if you have your Tammie Manikins, remember this is a challenge. You are dependent on the color that you have on hand. But know what happens when you combine to create. And it's gonna be tonal value that's going to drive you crazy. One hint that I'll give you, when you're trying to change the tone on yours, don't go the same level. Go lighter with either a semi or demi. If you're going to use a permanent color, 10 volume, 5 volume. All you need to do is get that cuticle. It's already opened up, but to put it in there and work that color in to change the color. So you're combining color to create color. I love this mannequin because yes, you get so much information. When my students did it, the stuff they learned by taking that mannequin and making it all the same color. Now, one of my students did just take it. She wanted to do it black, and all of it came out exactly the same. Just put all the pigment back. It was amazing to me because I felt like there would be different tones, and there wasn't. So see what happened here. Did the same thing. There's no flaws in that. But what I want to do, when you see me, you won't know that we went to bed and got it. Anyways, we're going to open up the garage door. I'm going to take it outside. I want you to see it in real sunlight to see what we have against, and then we'll come back inside and start applying color again. All right, see you again in just a little bit to you, not to me.
There it is. Okay.
Hey, you guys, we're outside. I told you the best way to see what results you have is go outside in natural sunlight. Because many times the lights inside are going to have like an ultraviolet tone to them, and they're going to change the tone of what you're looking at. So it's always best, if you want it exact, to go outside, get some natural sunlight, and just kind of turn it around. So we haven't done anything to this section yet, to section number 2 yet, and we haven't done anything to section number 1. So I'm debating on section number 1. I'm thinking about today going in with an 8N and then showing you the results of that. I'll let you know in a few minutes what color I'm using because that's all inside my she shed. But you see there's definitely a lot of yellow there. But look at the ash tones from the cool. It almost looks like somewhat like a gray-brown in a way. So if you look at this is what we did to what was a white gray hair. But remember, that was made into that. And when it's made into that, you're still combining color with color. And of course, where it was black, again, it was made into that. So when we lifted, we got the residue of whatever they used. And they definitely used something to turn it, to make it go black. And you saw how we divided that out. Once you determined that blue left and what was left behind, definitely a lot of red and yellow, because the black color has got the most blue in it, and it can't be blue without the other colors. And then of course it can't be black without yellow and red, and an excessive amount of that, like red violet, blue violet. So a lot of red pigment in there. Of course, red violet is red, red, blue. Yellow green, that would be the yellow that was in it, because that's the darkest shade of green. So that's got a lot of red into it. So how are we going to take this and make them all look the same? This, of course, hasn't been touched yet. We're going to be making decisions. We may just go with the 6N on this and see what happens. Sorry, we're outside. Go with the 6N on this side, see what happens. But I am thinking about going ahead and adding pigment to this, to area number 1 here, and then still in a quandary about what we're going to do with this at this point. We've got to wait and see what happens with the rest of it, or else we still end up with, we may have what we call the same color, but different tones, and what we want is the same color, same tone. So one isn't warmer, one isn't cooler than the other. And I challenge you guys, if you have this mannequin and you're in school, get your teachers to take it all one color. It's work, it's thought. What do we do next?
Go.
Okay, we might have had a little bit of a glitch because our our little disc or whatever ran out of space, so anyways, just letting you know. So if there's a bit of a difference, that's why. But you can see with the natural sunlight how this definitely looks like, you know, out here. This is Arizona, by the way, and we're cloudy. Arizona cloudy. This is Arizona. Anyways, it's definitely, it's a level 7. It may look darker on your part, but it's a level 7, definitely a brown or a soft brown. It's not a gold brown. And that's what happened when we added that cool color into it, the cool influx. Now this is what's fascinating. I'm going to turn it real slow. And you're just going to see an ever so slight variable. Look at the close blend on that, because it is the same level, just different tone. That's what I'm talking about, tone of color. We're going to be able to get this to brown. That's not going to be a problem. It's going to be a good level 6, you know, between 6 and 7 brown. But the thing is it's that tone of color that we've got to get it perfect. And that's where this mannequin is a challenge, but it's so much fun because you learn about color. Now, we're going to go back in, and when I go back in, I'm just going to go ahead and take this to an 8N. Now, let me tell you about the reason for the N series. N is neutral. What does neutral mean? It means it's neutral. It's in the middle. It's not warm. It's not cool. So what secondary color is neither warm or cool? Can you think of it? Secondary color that the two combinations combined together keep it from becoming warm or cool. It's a neutral. It's violet. Red and blue. Red is warm, blue is cool. So I want to, and N is meant for gray coverage. The reason for that, in the N series, what's the personality character of red? Grabs and holds on. In other words, less fadage with gray hair. Why did this go brown? Because we used a cool color with it. All right, I believe we had one N in there, so then again, what are we doing? Blue-violet within that gold, which makes brown. Blue and gold make brown. So I'm going to hold this so that you can see it. And like I said, right now we haven't done anything with this side or this side, but we are going to build color. Could I just take this and take it to a 6N? Yeah, if I want to make my life miserable. I want to build up into it, because if I take it into a 6N and I have to do a soap cap to make it blend with the other side, it's going to just remove it right away. So I want to put pigment into pigment, just as all of these, it's pigment into pigment to create a good finished look. Again, you have to know your product. You have to know what you're using. And I've got a variety of colors in there. I'll let you know which brand I'm going to be using. You know I use L'Oreal with this. On my lightener, it was blue lightener. It was that clay lightener that I used. So that worked out pretty good. I was slightly tempted to add a little bit of actually just blue coloring in there to increase that, to maybe decrease the gold. And that may take a little, sometimes that's, you know, so often when students are doing haircuts in the salon or in the school, all that hair is thrown away. And it drives me crazy, because think about the knowledge if you just started making your own hair swatches to see what would happen if you do a color. Don't dump that color in the trash or the shampoo bowl or wherever you dump it out. Keep your swatches and try it on a swatch and see what happens. Try putting them under the dryer with it. See, you know, what happens when I put it under the dryer. Get yourself a hair color journal. That's how you're going to become good at this and have a good comprehension, where that color wheel is no longer on that color swatch book. It's in your brain. And then you get to know your color services and color product itself. But yeah, our little Tammie is hopefully, when we're finished with this class, and it's segments, you see we're traveling in segments, it's going to take a little time, but I dare you, take your Tammie. Let's make it all one color. And please, if you do, send me your formulas. Tell me what happened in each section. Remember, this is, okay, let me see if I remember what all the sections are. Okay, This is section 1, this is section 2. So the light blonde is section 1. No, yep, section 1. The goldy coppery is section 2. What was white was section 3. And what was black is section 4. So now we're both going to be speaking the same language. And let me know, what did you do to make it all one color? How did you get it there? All right? Same color, same tone now. Not just one color and then warm on one side, cool on the other. It's got to look like you just put it on a head that had all one color on it. That's our goal with this. All right, so I'm going to go and take care of this, put the color on, and we will be back again, another jump. And you see I'm wearing a different shirt. I told you yesterday. We're going to be taking a couple days with this or more. And you're going to get it within, what, 45 minutes or an hour, depending. But let's work on this together. Hopefully this will be a good color class for you. See you in a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, so we've taken our number 2. Where's that number 1? Hang on. Yeah, that's number 1. Our section number 1, which was the very light blonde. And I added, do you see how increasing pigment? And it stays a natural color. This is what is fascinating to me. That was a neutral series. Remember we were talking about neutral earlier. That neutral means that it's very likely violet based. Fascinates me. Again, you have to know your product. I used this product line here, Patrice 8N, and fascinating to me that when I mixed it up, look at the green in there. But the thing is, when you have, a lot of people think, oh my God, it's going to be too ashy. No. The opposite of green is what? Red. So it came out a slight, we're not going to go outside and look at this, but it came out a slight golden brown. So it's fascinating to look at it and to realize that even though it was green underneath, look at that. Just a very nice soft, and that doesn't look like a level 8, but remember, when you have artificial pigment in the hair, you're increasing that pigment. And in order for them to take it to that blonde, we don't know what color it was before, they had to lift and then add product. So this product still combined with the product that was in it. That's the thing about understanding the concept of color. Too many people want to go right to the level. You have to feed yourself into it. You have to kind of climb that small hill up into it to see what it's going to do before. Because possibly your client would be happy with this. Whereas if you would have gone in with because this looks like about a level 6, and we know it was a level 8, and the point is, the client may be happy with it. Where if you used a level 6, because there was already pigment in there, remember when you're recoloring someone, there's artificial pigment. We're not working with natural hair color. That's the difference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these down, and we're getting on our way to getting it where we want it to be. Almost there. So what I'm going to do, all I want to do is change tone. I don't want it darker. I just now want to change that tone of color. Now let me show you this again inside. See how this is just darker and then it just a little bit lighter. That's all it is. This is darker, same color, a little bit lighter. That's what tonal value is. This is a little warmer. You can see the warmth now with these two together. You can see a little bit of a goldie in there. But this is very ash. What's going to happen when I put that in there? Because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put that same color, level 8. All I'm doing is changing tone. Adding pigment to pigment. So we know that it's not going to go lighter, one, because permanent color does not lift color. It deposits only. So we're, in other words, increasing that pigment within. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to go ahead and use this up. It's been sitting here a while, so that means it's more like a demi-permanent now because the developer, which was 20 volume, has kind of fizzed out a bit. but this cuticle is open, so I know it's going to accept it for stain. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it all over. We're going to reapply here as well. Possibly not. I'm not going to reapply there. Let's see what it does with the rest of this first. And because I don't want to increase that pigment, so if it takes it where we want it to be, we're going to be good. If we have it all one uniform color, that's what we're trying to do. Same tone, same color. So as you can see, these two are the same color. Just one is darker, one is lighter. That's all. So let's take this and let's see what happens with it. So what I'm doing, as you can see, it's kind of in and out. You know, you see me, you don't, sometimes you see me apply, sometimes you don't. But I'm just going to go ahead and just apply all over. I'm not going to reapply in that section 1. I'm going to leave that alone. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put it in a ponytail so that I don't apply on it. And keep it away from the others. And let's, when you come back, you'll see the result. And I may have you look back and see it processing a little bit. But you'll see the result of what happened once we applied all over. I mean, is this going to go more ashy? Is this going to tone down or still be as warm as it is? That's what we need to find out. But we need to get it now, and surprisingly enough, what's it being done with? We want we want more like into the level 6, but what are we adding to it? A level 8 color, an 8N. So when you increase pigment, you don't necessarily have to go to that level. And again, that's where swatches, that's where please, if you have a client that comes in that just got her hair colored and took about 4 inches, 8 inches is the best, and then you put like a little rubber band on the end of it, and make sure that you twist it, that you kind of bend the hair down, because or else it comes out when you, like when you do it. I'm going to take this little piece right here. So when you do it, put your rubber band there, and then bend it down, and put another rubber band. A lot of times I'll do that with tape. But what I'm going to do with this in a little bit, I am going to use a lightener on it. And I'm not going to put any of this color because it's already oxidized, so it's not necessarily going to lift anything, but this is natural color. So we know that it could possibly lift this color. If I mix up a new batch, I'll make sure and do that and show you the result. This is truly a level 1 color. I mean, this young man, his hair is black. You can see it there. It's almost like a violet black when you really, I mean, if you were standing here by me, that's the tone that we would see in it. So, and again, your screen is going to show a slight variable, but we're going to do our very best to try and get this all the same color, same tone throughout. All right? So again, you're not even going to notice a cutoff, but I'm going to go ahead and cut off, and then I'll be right back.
Okay, go.
Okay, so I've applied in the 3 different spots. Spot number 2, which was that just that coppery gold. Spot number 4, yeah, this number 4. This is the one we pre-lightened. And there's just a hue. I don't know whether you can see it or not, because again, with the screens and stuff, this is definitely going into a little bit more of a brown. And lift this up. You can see that that's definitely losing some of its pigment. It's nothing's happening right now. I just finished applying, so we got to give it 30 minutes. But look at our ash. It is still very ashy. Now, we were talking about this being green. So what's the formula? It was supposed to be an N. It was supposed to be a violet base. But we realize now that it is not neutral, it is a true ash. Maybe it meant to be a blue-violet base, a little bit more blue into it, but it definitely, the opposite of green, of course, is red on the color wheel. So we know that it's going to come out warm, but let's see if it warms this one up, because this was definitely ashy. I'm tempted to go ahead and put it on another application here with it, build it up just a little more, I wasn't going to, but I believe I'm going to go ahead and finish off this product with it. Now, one thing about the application, to keep it off the client's face, if you're using the same color all over, just bring it back. You don't need it all over the client's face. So I'm just going to bring that back. I'm going to go ahead and do it. And it also keeps it off the forehead. Let's see what it does. And again, what level is this? A level 8. And we want to get a result of a level 6 when you have color on top of color. That's why some of you go a little bit too dark, because you're trying to stay within that level. But if you know what happens with color, you know what happens with result. So when you're putting color on top of color, and again, this is where swatches, hair swatches, I can't stress it enough that if you don't know, do a strand test on your client. They want a certain, they're not going to come in and pay you $2 for it. That's going to be an expensive venture for them to get the color that they want. So the more you know about color, the more likely you're going to be able to do that. So we have, there's so many products out there. Some of them have the glosses, they have the shines, they have just the semi and demis that we put on now. And if somebody comes in that has taken their hair and made it green, and they want to go back to blonde, that's not going to be an easy venture for you. Or if they want to go back to their natural color, but they want a warm tone to it, well, what's the underlying pigment there that you're working against? Green. That's ash. So what do you need to use? Definitely a red gold color. And they might look at you and say, well, I don't want it red. Well, we know you don't, but what happens when you combine? You are never canceling, you are never neutralizing. You're creating when you're doing color. It's just something that, those words are not allowed in my classroom. You never cancel. You never neutralize. You create. And you create for result. And if you don't know where you're at, what's my phrase? You don't know where you're going. Now see how you can keep it away from the face by doing that? Just take it and try and color removes color, but on a mannequin, yeah, not on a mannequin, it's very porous. But it's a good practice to have when you're working on a client. They prefer that you kind of push it away from their face, as opposed to having it fall down in their ears and all of that stuff, to give them your signature. That's what I usually tell my clients. Well, it's got my autograph in there for you. But color removes color. So before you take color off of a client, what you do is, when you take them to the shampoo bowl, all color has a shampoo molecule in it. So you just take it and you move it around the areas that you've colored on the skin, if you happen to get it on the skin. And don't start with the water right away. If you do, you're going to, the water sets it. It makes it just all become one. So then skin and hair are the same chemistry. Hair is dry keratin, skin is moist keratin. All right, so let me turn this around. Let's see what's happening. Okay, this side, do you see how you can, not much of a difference. There's going to be just a slight tonal value that we're going to have to work on. But then again, if you don't know what your color does, like the end was supposed to be violet. That was supposed to be just not warm or cool. And what did it do? It really ashed it out and really dropped some deposit in there. So let's just see, we're going to give this 35 minutes. When you come back, it's going to be shampooed and blow dried. And you'll get to see the variables on what happened on each section. And we'll talk about it, and we'll talk about the whys. And if you have any questions, please jot them down. If you do this yourself, please let me know what colors you used to accomplish what you needed. All right, now remember, anything darker than a level 5, single application will do it. But reality says, it might look that way, but on a real client, if they had real hair like this, where's it going to fade first? And they're going to end up with just a variable result once the hair fades out. So yeah, you can get that right away, and we've done it. I've had students that went just level 3, one application, they were done, even all over. But what information did they gain? That's the reason why I want to go within the level 6, because it's the strongest area of red and the first step kind of into the area of blue. So as far as your color chart, so your 6 is definitely a red. You go down to the 5, you go to the red-brown, red increases, I'm sorry, the level 5 is that first area of true blue. Does it mean that a 6 can't be brown? No, 6 can be brown. All you have to do is add pigment to it, but it lets you know what the majority of the pigment is within that when you're working with the color level. Same thing with the color resistance chart. A level 6, red, gold. All right, it's still there. A level 7, as far as areas of deposit, more red. A level, that means 8 levels of deposit. It's exactly opposite of what the products are. That's levels of lift. That's what's in it. That's the product and what's been taken out of the product. All right, and knowing the 2 variables really helps as far as, and only you will know this. So often, does it get confusing? Yes. But once you know it, and then you jot down your formulas and you look at it and you go, okay, what are we getting rid of here? Just as we did up here. That's why we knew that that was going to be the result, because of the blue. It answered our questions. So is it like math? Kind of, but it's not. It's only 3 colors. Yellow, red, blue, and we know everything that they do, from the lightest to the darkest. All right, you'll see the result in just a little bit. Thank you.
Go.
Okay, you guys, we are like so, let me see, so close. You can see this right here. This was our number 4, which was the black. And then this is our number 2, which was that real coppery blonde. Now look at what happens when I comb these together. Remember, we took this up to what was almost this. So this would make sense that it looks so close. This is just a little darker, and you can see just a little bit more gold on this one. This is what tonal value is what I'm talking about. So knowing your product is going to be extreme as far as creating the separations that we want. We need to get rid of some of the gold here, and we need to add some substance on this one. So where it was black, we still need to add color, and where it was coppery, we still need to tone it down a bit. And again, we're going to do it not with a darker color, but a lighter color. This time, instead of the 8, I'm looking at going with a level 7, because we want to now start adding pigment. In other words, look at the product. So if we are at gold, we're looking at red gold, which is okay, that's kind of where we want to be, but we don't want it red. So we're going to have to go with an NA, in other words, a natural ash, to combine with the red and create a solid brown. With what was black, now that's a coppery one, which what was black that we lifted up, we've got pigment in there. We may just be able to go with a 7N. NA, because we had so much red pigment here. We know that this is a 7 as well, and it's labeled red gold, but because we know that it was black and we lifted it up, it's in there already. And so we're going to try just an N instead of a 7N. In other words, more pigment, a little bit darker, so less lift. All right? So if we look at a 7 here, do you see where that's definitely red? And then if we add an ash to it, it's, I hate to use the word cancel because we don't want to use that, but it's going to change that red and create a different shade of brown. Because once you combine red with the color across the color wheel, it's going to become brown. So we want to go an A. Do we want to go a green base? Not necessarily. Possibly a blue-green base, in other words, an NA. And now look at this. The area that was white, it's still extremely ashy, and we did add that ash color to it. So is that the answer for these? To go in with that level 7, remember, or level 8, maybe cool reinforced on these two. Should we try that? Just a dot, because we know that it definitely brings it down. But remember, this was white. So if it's white, we needed to replace the red pigment. What did we do with this one? That was our number 3. We added the 7 GB. Okay, again, we realized that that was blue and orange. So a lot of blue pigment in there. The 8G, it had some, but then the cool reinforcement had to be blue violet. So a lot of blue pigment went in there. So we need to go in and add some gold pigment to that. So maybe an 8G as opposed to an 8N. And on this front, this is what's fascinating about this. You look at it in this sense, and let's bring these two together. It almost doesn't show up, but you can see a slight ashiness on this side and definitely a gold on that side. What do we need to do to make it right? So you see, this is an excellent challenge for you guys that do have the Tammie Manikin in your schools. Take it, make it one color, get your teacher's assistance on it. If you have to use the color wheel, so what? But the main thing is understand why those things happen. Why does it receive it like that? Why does it accept it like that? How do we then take it and create it to make it the color that we want and make it all the same? So again, like I said, this is taking us more time. Of course, I've got other things to do at home besides just work on this all day. But we are still going to work on it. We are still going to, a little bit here, a little bit there, and that's exactly what my students did when they were doing this. They had to look at tone of color and determine what do we need to do to make it all even, all the same. So what I'm going to be doing tomorrow, and section by section at a time, I encourage you to do it as well. Do it section by section. What do you need to do to create that color? Understand and know tone of color. Understand and know what's across the color wheel. It doesn't cancel it. It creates it. It makes that color. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take this, I'm going to put an 8G on it. We're going to look at it afterwards, see if we can blend it with the rest. At least get it to blend. We'll be on our way. We're getting it to blend. And then that's where then we'll then use the level 6 for all of them to see what happens. Does it take it and make it all one color? So we'll go from there, but I am going to use an 8G. Not exactly sure which product I'm using, but I'll look through my shelves, see what I've got, and go from there. I'll let you know what the product is, and I will be using 20 volume because I do want to break it down as well and then get it to go inside and blend. Can I just use a 10 volume and just let it rest on top? No, I want it to go in and change. And then when we get ready to use tonal value, just tone, then I'll use a 10. But I want some change in there as well. All right, so I'm going to do this. We'll be back to show you the results, and then tomorrow we're going to do the 6N and see what happens. See if we can't get it all to blend. All right, so another adventure with this. I'm very curious to see how yours are going. I'm very curious to see how your teachers are working with you on it. The Tammie doll, use it, do it, work with it, and if you can get it to become one color. Now, like I said, the lighter colors, you're gonna have to fry the hair. That's the only problem with it, because you keep taking color out, taking color out. If you wanna try the lighter colors, do it. But just know that that's the reason we're kind of staying in the middle. But if you take the lighter colors, you've got to use a level lightener and stuff, and just take one swatch and try and, cut a little piece off and see what happens when you take it that light and then put color back in and, keep working with it, see what happens with it. Going dark, it'll take it, it'll do it, but it's not real. because we know that with clients, them being out in the weather and stuff, it's all gonna fade differently. But yeah, for the first time, it'll take it. So, and of course, that's replacing everything. But just kind of stay in the middle, and believe me, you're gonna learn a lot about creating and making your own colors. So, we'll see in a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, so we put the 8 Rusk Natural Copper in it and see. However, I want you to take a look. Take a look at how close we are. These 3, I mean, they are like there. This one, the one that was white, is still, we're having to feed color in. And this is really going to teach you on what happens when you combine color with color to create color, because this was white. These are blended in to color. So this, of course, when you have gray hair though, normally you can just cover it. It's not, but when you have artificial color on the hair, that's when you're going to run into challenges to get the right tones because of that residue color inside. So I'm going to do this, and if this one doesn't work, and just like you in the salon, you're working with what you've got to work with. That's all you've got. So this time I'm using the ISO color line. Like I said, I've got several different color lines. I've always, even when I had my salons, it never was one color line. And I'll be honest with you, there were times that we'd intermix them because we needed that pigment. We needed that strength in that other color. Is it wrong to do that? Well, the companies don't want us to do it because they want us just to use their color. That's business. But as a colorist, sometimes that's what you've got to do. And I think I've shared with you in the past about when they had the sun glitz lighteners. And those lighteners were every primary and secondary color. And you'd walk into the salon and these ladies had all these stripes, and it would leave beautiful shades of blonde. All these gorgeous shades of blonde, unnatural colored hair. They'd come in for their retouch. What happens with yellow? Because when you lift to yellow, bottom line. So, yeah, grabs, but let's go. Well, what did it do? It grabbed that primary and secondary color. So that company was way up and then boom, crashed right down. And now you don't see those colored lighteners anymore. But what you see now is, of course, people lightening their hair and then putting those primary and secondary colors. But because the personality character of yellow states grabs, but let's go, they fade. The only ones that don't would be certain ones that are plastic based and they coat the cuticle and they ain't coming off. You're gonna have to cut it off. So anyways, let's, I'm going to, what I did was I mixed up 6 brown red, BR, and 6, oh I know I got the other one, 6G. I didn't write it down, oh here it is, 6G. So a level 6 color, which is what these are, and I'm trying to take this to this color. So brown red, so if I have brown red here and gold, I'll have a red gold. What have I got here? It's pretty much red gold. It's a coppery gold. So, and the level 6 color on the product is right here in the red. So we know that if we add gold to it, it's going to do what a level 7 would, red gold. All right, so, and then being that we have a little bit of a brown tone and we know we have brown, we're still combining color with color. We could write up that whole formula and so on, but unless you take, you know, where I do advanced classes in this and we write down every formula and check it off and cross-check it to see what's the result that we're going to get, and then show evidence that yes, we do get that result. But this is the way to totally understand and get hair color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put this color on, and then when we come back, we'll see what it did, and I may have to go shopping tomorrow to get some product to tone this out to make it the brown, because I find that I don't have a lot of what would be the level that I want, a 6A. I have a lot of 6N. I don't want a 6N because we're going to have so much red pigment, and again, it is going to be a little unusual on this one. I'm putting red in to then change or create that brown color. Remember, I don't like to use the word cancel because cancel gives you absolutely no information. It just says it goes away. It's been canceled. Well, what did we create when we did it? So anyways, I'm going to finish this up. We'll come back. We'll show you the results. And tomorrow, I'll be going over to Sally's and hopefully have solutions to take this into what would be a true level 6 brown without the gold, without making this ashy again. So, knock on wood. All right? So, good luck. I do hope that you guys are looking at getting your Tammie Manikins. And let's work on this together. I think it's going to be fun, especially some of you that do have them. Let's do it. Get in there and truly learn color and learn what happens with it. All right? Oh, and by the way, on the Rusk, that was Rusk Shines. So the Rusk Shines, it just slightly changes tone of color, which it did, but didn't give us enough to what we wanted. Another thing, it had too much yellow. On the Rusk, I used natural copper, but the level 8 is where? It's right here, first level of red, so that means there's more yellow in there than there is red. So that's the why. There's your answer for that. Why it didn't pick it up. Possibly if I'd used a 7NC with a little more red, it would have done just a little bit more. So are you understanding? I'm hoping you're getting that. All right, see you again in a little bit to show you the results of this, and then tomorrow we're going over to Cosmo Prof or Sally's, one or the other. All right, see you in a bit.
Go.
Okay, so finally, success with this. We got it to a true brown. Why did we have to add the 6G and the 6BR, brown red? And you see that there is, because it was so ashy, there is no red in there. It's just a nice true brown. That's what we want for all of it. So you can see the other colors. These are definitely gold, and you see that. This one is slightly, almost slightly there, but pretty light in color. So debating on whether I should add a little more pigment to that or not. This I'm not going to. These are definitely gold. I feel like I can go with a 6 ash and come up with the same color. So what we're trying to do is get it to look exactly the same all the way around. When you do your mannequin, when you do your Tammie, make sure that you number each one so that you know where you're at. And take note of it. I'm just doing it up here for you to see, but you know, pretend that these are different mannequins so that you know how to then apply and what tonal value do you see in it. But like I said before, it's tone of color that's going to make you crazy. But this finally did come out exactly the way we wanted it. But keep in mind, this was ashy. I had to add gold to it. So if it's gold, I have to add ash to it. The thing that's a little concerning is the softness of this one. It's just a little bit softer. You can see that. It's definitely got some yellow in there. Should I do the 6A on that or wait and put something else on it and do 6A on this? Because if you look at these, there's definitely some warmth. And tomorrow, before we do the color, it's late now, so, and like I said, we've been working on this. You guys haven't experience of what I'm doing with this, but it'll be the same thing for you. You have to wait it out, wait for that color to process, come back and look at it. Okay, what did we get? So you can see a lot of the gold in that, and then definitely, and get yourself some little ties and stuff because it really does help separate it. And this is definitely gold. So you can see this one, you see that one, they're almost identical. Just almost identical in their appearance. So possibly the 6A will work good with this, but I'm debating on this one, on whether we should do it or not. We'll see, because if not, I may have to do a soap cap on it, which many times just to get rid of that little bit of that tone, but this actually came out perfect. This is the brown that we want. It's a true brown. It's not red, it's not too ashy, it's just that true, nice, rich brown color. Almost, I would say it almost ended up being like more like a level 5 than a 6, because it is a true brown. It's not a dark blonde, and that's what we want. But just think about it. We did this, got this result with a level 6. So sometimes it's not wise to go in with the level that you want to reach when you have a lighter color. You have to kind of build up into it. So, and I hope that you guys communicate when you do your Tammies, and if there's certain things that you see, and again, product. You know, what product are you using? What product are you gonna, you know, what, that's why I say it's one thing, no color. It's one thing to know all of this and what happens when we evaluate. But if you don't know what your product has in it, like that L'Oreal that we used that made this very ashy. So again, but it's got its purpose on what you want to get rid of. And maybe because of that is why we got this nice rich color. So tomorrow we are going to take it outside again, look at it in the straight sunlight so you can see that it's a real rich brown. Before we put that, I'm going to get a 6A. I've got to go to Sally's, get a 6A color, or go to Cosmetology. There's another one out here in Arizona, Makeup Beauty Supply. Excellent place, excellent place. Absolutely love the owners. It's a very nice beauty supply. But anyways, we'll see how it works out. So thank you so much, and it's coming together. I hope it's coming together for you. Get your teachers. If you're at a school, get them to help you with it. Make it all one color. And again, stay within the level 6 and 7. If you go, that's the client. If you go to a 4, anything darker than a 5, it's going to take it right away. You're not, there's no guesswork for it. The point is, when it fades, you know, the mannequin isn't going to be out in the weather and stuff and doing all the stuff that people do. It's going to fade differently because of the foundation. So let's create a foundation that's going to hold that color and keep it in there. Okay, so any questions, any concerns, please make a note. If you haven't subscribed yet, do subscribe. And again, you guys know about my book. Let me see, I think it's right here. Yeah, so I already announced it in the beginning of the class. It's a pretty good little book. Trust your PhD stylist. As a licensed professional, you are a PhD, professional hair designer. And we are true professionals. All right, take care. And we're going to finish this up. And you won't notice a difference, but I'm about ready to go to bed here in a little bit. Take care.
There you go. Go.
Okay, you guys, here's the brown that I was telling you about. I mean, this came out perfect. It's just brown. It's a nice, almost like a violet base, but it's not, doesn't have gold in it, but yet it looks very natural. And this is what we were trying to achieve. Remember, this was our number 3. So this was the one that was pure white. And we've added and combined. Remember, when you combine color, you change color and create. So finally, using the formulas that we did, they're in my she shed, so I need to look them up again. But write down your formulas, write down what you did on each section so that you have a good idea, a good view of it. But natural sunlight tells you a lot. Now look at this here. How close these two are to each other. I mean, the variable is so slim. So I'm debating, do I I'm just going to use the 6A on both of them instead of messing around trying to work on the tone. This is just ever a scotch lighter. And this is a scotch lighter. A little more yellow in this one. Surprisingly enough, this is where it was black. And this was the coppery. So yeah, so we've got a little bit more copper in this one still. In other words, the red area increased. Now, the light yellow is the only area that I'm wondering about. What do we do? Should we go ahead? And I see a little bit of an ash in the natural sunlight. I can see the slight ash in there. Do I want to go back into ash? Do I want to do that and make it darker? I don't know. Should we just jump in with both feet and do it, or just do one and then see what it does? Should we do a test strand on this? Fear not. We're just going to do it. And but yeah, if you're concerned about it, just take a small section, like something underneath that's not going to be seen on the finished look, and just do a test strand. See what you come up with. I mean, that's one way for you to, to look at it. What this is going to do for you, whatever color product you're using, you're going to have a very good understanding of it. I always recommend learn more than one, because they're all going to do something slightly different. And we can see that all the time. Like I said, when I've had my salons in the past, I've had up to 7 different lines, because I need a little something from here, a little something from there. What is it going to do? And you knowing what it does is a big factor. It's amazing the information that you can get. So we're going to go back in. I'm going to go ahead next time you see me. And as you see, for me, it's taken me 3 days to do this, but I have other things that I'm doing. I'm not just, take care of the home and all that stuff, and then incorporate this teaching for you. If you want to spend, like if you guys are in school and doing this, good God, spend the day doing it, and ask your teacher why. Why did it do that? Go to the color wheel if it helps you. But I'm asking you, put the color wheel in your brain. Know what that color wheel does. Know what one represents the other. It's going to answer the question. The opposite of red is going to be blue, green, blue, green. All right? And the opposite of blue, blue, green is going to be yellow, red, 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 gold. It's the way it is. And they all create color, create a result, depending on how light and how dark it is. Usually the lighter colors on a color wheel are going to be up on top. The darker ones are going to be on the bottom or closer to the circle, to main circle. Some color wheels actually color the circle brown or color it black, because that's what those colors create. So you knowing that is going to help you in your future. And that's the reason for doing this particular video. So I'm going to turn her around real slow for you guys. Take a look at this, pause it, see where it changes, see what happens. And in natural sunlight, you can see a whole lot more than you can indoors. Go back around the other way for you. Do it real slow. Did any of you notice that this kind of resembles that? Which is really strange to me as well, because look at that, just blends right in. Goes right into it. This was the darkest. It's amazing. Color is absolutely amazing. So, excuse our dogs, but anyways, we're gonna go back inside. They're going crazy. So, we'll see you in a little bit.
Go.
Okay, something that, like I've told you guys, know your product. Know what it is. I use this product line, 6A. I left a little thing in there for you to see it. It's like a gloss. It's a gloss, but it's a color. And do you see how it's green in there? 6A. So we know that the A in this is green or blue-green. And the color itself, it's starting to oxidize, so you can't see it so much anymore, but it was definitely this color on it when I put it on. I could kick myself. After I started putting it on, I thought I should have put that over here, is what I should have done. Because what was this one before? That was our number 4. That was black. It's got pigment in it. It's got plenty of blue in it. So it may come out a little bit too dark. I may have to soap cap that with lightener to get it to come up. Now this one, this is called a Patrice color. Catrice color brand, and look at how light that is. And you can see it there. But both are getting dark. So both may be a level 6, and they may be even, I'm not sure, because this was a little more coppery, if you remember. We made this coppery. We took the blue out, but now what are we doing? Putting it back in. So it may go too dark. It's fascinating, I gotta tell you, and I can't stress it enough. Know what your product does. On these Tammie Manikins, make sure you get those edges like right there. So I wanted to make sure and show you this before I clean these bowls out. But again, we're on a level 6 with both of them. You see that both of them are getting darker. But how dark? Right now we don't know until we take it down. Is this just going to be like a soft brown, and this is going to be a true darker brown? We'll find out once we shampoo it and blow dry it, and then we determine what are we going to do with the rest of it. Because now we're starting to really go brown all the way around. How do we equalize it? How do we make it right so that it's the same color? I got to tell you, I can't stress it enough, you guys. If you have the Tammie Manikin, especially if you're in school, encourage your teachers to take that mannequin, make it one color. I discourage going too light. Definitely don't go too light, because you're good. These have got they've got a chemical on it. You're going to have to fry it, and then after a while, it's just going to start falling apart. And that's too bad. That's too bad, because this is already chemically treated to be created into that. That's what we want to stay in the middle. You're going to be amazed at how much you're going to learn about the color wheel. And remember, and I went back and I'm looking at one of my videos where I had red and blue making green, and I didn't take it off. So I've changed that, okay? I do know what it makes. So when you have yellow, red, and blue, yellow and red are going to make orange. Red and blue are going to make violet. Yellow and blue are going to make green. That's all there is to it. That's what it makes. These are the seeds of all color. These are the seeds of everything that you see around you. That is creation of color. And in order to increase the orange, we can make it yellow orange or red orange. We can make it red violet or blue violet. We can make it yellow green or blue green. You do the same thing with the color wheel. You have yellow, red, and blue. Do you want to increase that violet? Do you want to make it darker? Blue violet. Do you want to make it warmer? Red violet. It's not different. It's the same. Whether you want to keep it on a color wheel or whether you just want to do it in this form, doesn't matter. So, understanding what happens with it, still yet, which one has more pigment? Well, kind of looks like this one has a little bit more pigment than this one. Let's take a look at it. Both of them are level 6. 2 different product lines. Know what your product does. And there are a lot of products out there that have a blue base, which is going to have more pigment. So there's a lot of products out there that create a lot of warmth, less pigment. All right? So anyways, I wanted to show that to you. When this is shampooed out, we're going to come back. You're going to see it blow dried, and let's see what we've done. All right? May take it outside, may just look at it in here. We'll just see how it goes. All right, so see you in a little bit again.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, we are so close. You see the results of this. Now I'm taking this every time we're shampooing it out, we're drying it, so this is boom, 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 boom. But you can see, I'm going to pick this up right here. And so close. You can see the variable right there. So close. I hope you can see it. But there's just a few little lines in there and so on. But you bring it all down and it's almost all there. This is just, it's just a hue lighter. This is just a hue darker. Now, what I want to talk about is, remember, this was green. This was like a yellow green. This was lighter, but look at what happened. This is a 6A, and look at where it took it. This, however, if you recall, don't worry about the dogs. This, my cameraman's getting all worked up about the dogs. This should, if you think about the pigment underneath, this was the real coppery one. So, whoa, it really took it, and it's definitely made it a lot darker. We would have thought that this would have done this because of the green in it, but it didn't. So a level 6A on each, 2 different color lines. This is what I'm talking about. Know what your color line is going to do. This is so close, so very close. I mean, this is definitely wearable out there. It's just a hue. I mean, just a slight toning, that's all it needs. So I'm thinking about going, because I just want to change tone. I don't want to make it darker. If I add 6A onto this same 6A that I used here, it's going to possibly get darker. What should I do? Maybe a strand test, right? To see if the strand test, if I was concerned about it. But being that I'm doing this just to work with you guys, but if you get that close, definitely do a strand test, because if you put it down like this, you can't tell the difference at all. It just blends real well. You can see where that's a little darker. You can see, well, and you can't even tell that much there. So it's amazing how close we can get. So I'm thinking I'm going to place this 6A, same product. It's a Gloss Genius is what it's called, that particular line. And I'm going to put it here and see how close we can blend. So all I need to do on this one is just lightly soap cap it, shampoo and lightener. Just work it through and keep an eye on it, and then immediately shampoo it out. As soon as you see that blue base kind of lift off or break, it's called breaking the base, it should come up to this. And we should be all so close there. Because if I hold it in this form, and then if I hold it here, it looks the same. So that's pretty amazing. But again, the fascinating thing, this should have been darker. The other one was lighter, should have been lighter. Look at what happened. So you need to know your product, know what your product does. And then again, if you're guessing, even with a client, believe me, they will be much happier if you take the time and do a strand test to see what's the result going to be. What are we going to get out of this? You're also going to gain more information. So anyways, totally fascinating. Did I look at a swatch before I did this? No, I just looked at the number. So yeah, look at your swatches too that come with it. Remember, those swatches some of them are plastic. Are we ever going to get it exact? No. It just gives you a range to what that color is. I'm starting to get a little bit of rain here in Arizona. Can you believe this? Trying to do this in the sunlight in Arizona, of all times. Okay, so we're going to apply that same 6A here, and let's see what it does. Now remember, this has less pigment than this did, because this is the one that was that pale yellow. This one on this side was previously the black. So it's pretty amazing how very close we can get. All right, so we're going to do this one, move forward, and then soap cap this afterwards, and let's see what it does. Okay, see you in a little bit.
Go.
Okay, you guys remember that dark spot? I did a process called breaking the base. And basically what I used was some of the blonder is like a toner. And I added a little bit of a high lift. I used 30 volume, which I normally seldom go beyond 20. But I thought, no, I better use 30 volume. And I bagged it and put it under the dryer. And that's exactly what it did. It broke the base. Look at how close we are. I'm turning it so you can kind of see it with the sunlight. But now, do you see that's just a little bit goldy? It's so close, this compared to this. As I bring it around slowly, remember, this was the lightest part. This was the copper. So I'm thinking I'm going to do one more with the, ooh, I'm debating if I should do it with the 6A again, one more application with it, or if I should do it with the 6NA. In other words, just a little bit more volume, and so that'd be a blue violet base instead of a blue base. I'm not sure which one I'm going to do. I'll let you know after I do it. But the thing that's amazing was how perfect this is. Especially, all we did was break the base. We knew what we had underneath. So we just needed to get rid of some of that blue. Remember, the first color to leave is blue. So I wanted it to stay brown because what it did was it decreased the value of that blue. So as I speak about color, that's all I speak about is color and what happens with color and our choices. But still yet, it creates these colors. When I bring this close, you can kind of, I'm hoping you can see that. With the sun, I'm going to kind of turn it that way a little bit. See how this is just a scotch darker, and that's got just a little bit more yellow in it. So if I add a blue-violet base to it, it should bring it just a little more, because we don't need gold in there. We've got it. So do you see what I'm saying? And then the blue-violet, violet and yellow make brown. Blue and orange make brown. If you know what it makes, you can, I mean, it becomes a lot simpler for you. So, but I'm only going to do it with 10 volume. I don't want to lift, I want to deposit. So you're thinking to yourself, well, why not then use demi or semi-permanent color? I trust the permanent colors a little bit more because of their pigment. That's got a little bit of ammonia in it. The change would be just a little better. And I can make it a demi or a semi by using 10 volume on it. Sometimes you can use 5 volume on it. So, but permanent color, the pigment is just a little bit more, and the varieties are more. But look at how close, how absolutely, you would not believe this mannequin was 4 different colors. I'm almost tempted to buy another one just to have one sitting next to it to say, yeah, this is what it was, this is what it's now. But those of you that have a Tammie Manikin, and it's called Tammie, as you can see right there, you can order it. Like I told you, I paid about $50 for it, free shipping, so that wasn't bad. You'd be amazed at what you can learn about color. We're just about done. We've just about perfected this to where it's done. And you've seen me with different clothes, and now you see me with my name in my front here. Yeah, that's my name, Pearl. So I gotta know where I'm at and where I'm going. Anyways, I wanted to bring it outside because this is where you can really see what's going on with it. See that tone in there? Now let me turn it around. This is the one we got to work on to make it the same tone of color. But the back of it is the same as the front. It's perfect all the way around. So I just wanted to let you know, we'll get this going. Hopefully this video will teach you a lot. It'll challenge you to get your Tammie or get your teacher to take that Tammie, make it all one color. It's not impossible, as you can see. But you got to think about what you're doing. You've got to know tonal value. Yes, go ahead and use the color wheel. I'm hoping that by using it a lot, it'll go into your brain. You'll know it. Know color to create color. All right? All right, so we'll see in a little bit. I'm going to put another 6 on this. Haven't decided on the tonal value yet, but you'll see it when it's finished. And I'll have it outside as well so you can see it under natural sunlight. Because I'll tell you what, if I showed this to you in the house, it would look even all over. I could just lie to you and say, oh, look, we've done it. Not yet. All right? See you in a little bit.
Go.
Okay, well, I used the 7N. Now this color is so fascinating. Look at the result we got. I mean, can you see how dark it went? Remember when we did the earlier one and the one that turned dark was the lighter color? Well, go figure. This one is green. It should have gone lighter, not darker like it did. Possibly because it was, I just used 7N. I did not use 7NA. Maybe I should have thought about that a little bit more. And A would have had just a little bit more ash in it. This is ashy enough with the N. So anyways, evidently it did not do what it was supposed to do. So we're too dark again. So what are we going to do? We're going to use the exact same formula that we used the last time when it was so dark. We're going to break the base. And this is what I used, was the Blonde Me toning. And where's the color? Here's the color. Some of the Deep Shine. So in the 0012 series, I mean it's 0012 or 0011. Oh, SL00 and N. So it's using that same formula that we used the last time to break the base. I just left that in there for you. Let me put a little bit of developer in this. Excuse me. I'll be right back. Sorry, I thought I was ready, but I wasn't. I wanted to show you this other stuff, and this is getting to be a conglomerated, disorganized more than usual, but we've been busy for a few days getting this done. But I have a feeling once we put this on, and we've accomplished, because if it lifts like the other one did, we're there. You notice I said if it lifts like the other one did. It's like going to a sale and they tell you that you can save up to, or like even, look at this, I don't have my other glove on, I'm really getting in a hurry. Or they'll say it will lift up to how many levels. So this is definitely not a level 7 that it took it to, but remember, what did we do? We combined color with color. So when you do that, your variables are going to be extreme. You're going to have a slight difference here and there. So I'm going to take it off, and hopefully it should match perfect by then, because we're doing the exact same thing that we did before. Just adding this toner with the high lift color and breaking the base. So if we break this base, the thing is, you know there's got to be a lot of bluing in it, because all it's going to do is take it off, but it's not going to go to gold, because blue and gold make brown. That's what it makes. So we know there's blue in it, but there's blue in it to make it lighter, not darker. Remember, we're in the high lift series. So we're adding, what are we doing? We're adding cream to coffee. We're diluting it. But still yet in the end, what are we doing? We're creating a result, not canceling. This is why it's just so extreme, because when you say that you're creating, you really feel a little bit of a tense pressure about it, because now you're responsible for the result. And sometimes when we don't know why it didn't do it, at least we know how to take care of it. So when this is finished, I am going to bag her, and I am going to kind of clip it up, put her into the dryer for like about 30 minutes under a hot dryer, and I'll check her in 20. And then once it's done, then we'll come back, we'll show it to you. All right? And we're just going to show it inside. It's already evening here, and it's been raining, it's cloudy. So I'll just show it to you inside if you want. Possibly I may finish off the series by being outside tomorrow in the sunshine with it, because natural sunshine, as you have seen, tells the truth. All right, so let me get this done, and we'll see you in a bit again. Okay, we're outside again, and our skies have cleared up here. I want to share with you guys, now when my students did this, it took them a couple days. I do have a life, so in the midst of sometimes this getting done or whatever, I'm doing other things. You know, I do this from home. So, I mean, my heart is in this, but I got to tell you, I have students that have totally made it perfect, and I'm more impressed with them even now. I was happy for them then because they figured it out, but now doing it on my own to see it, it's amazing. You have to know your product. I haven't shopped yet. I've been using product that I have at home, but I want to show you a hack, by the way. Some of you are thinking, well, you know, I can't afford a mannequin stand, and those stands that they give you, they drive you nuts because of the way they turn or whatever, and with this, you know, how is this happening? Well, I've done a lot of thrifting in the past, and also, I hope you notice the color tones as I turn this, but I've been going to liquidation sales, and just recently, within this last fall, I guess, I started doing this. I noticed something at a liquidation sale, and it was on the day that they were letting everything go for $1. And it was for cameras. And I thought, well, it's got the tripod. I'm thinking to myself, can I make this work? And yeah, this is actually a camera stand. So for you that, you know, you don't want to spend the money on a stand that you're not going to use forever, this is perfect. Because you can comb the hair, you can color the hair, and it had a little bit of a nodule here, so where this wouldn't go in, the hole on the bottom wouldn't go in, so my husband just kind of buffed it down. Works just fine, holds a mannequin just fine. So that's a little bit of a hack for you. You can find them at thrift stores, and like I said, I was able to buy it. That's why I've got so many right now. I don't have room for more. But when I see them, sometimes it's hard to leave them. So for you guys, you know, think about that. What else can we do? Or what can we create so that we can continue learning? But yes, what I did on this one, I used that high lift. Now, why did it work on this? Why did it not? Here's your why, all right? This side is 2 and 3. Copper, gold, black. Pigment within. Lots of red pigment. This side was white and very pale yellow. So what happens, yellow comes from what to be yellow? Yellow comes from white to be yellow. Yellow cannot be yellow without white. We talk about that in my book, about a wedding dress. A wedding dress turns yellow because that's what that color comes from. That's just a fact. It's not a theory or anything, it is a fact. So this side, the reason we're having problems depositing is because of the quality or where this hair is at. This hair is at a yellow. This was white, it's accepted some stuff. This was definitely a pale yellow. And I put the same color on both, and you can kind of see where this took it a little bit more, and yet this is still slightly yellow, so it increased its own yellow tone. Color's gonna do what color's gonna do. So I'm using only what I've had. I guess I'm gonna have to just do it and pop over to Sally's or Cosmoprof and pick up, I can't decide if I want it, because remember I put a 6 on this, and the 6 went dark, the 6N, and it went dark. And it's like, okay, it shouldn't have done that, but it did. So with color, yeah, it shouldn't have done that. That's where, again, with your client, do a strand test. What's it going to do? It's worth your time, it's worth your investment, because what's going to happen while that client is processing, you would treat it exactly the same amount of time, take on another client. Go ahead and do another haircut. You know, that client, you don't need to sit there and, you know, watch it work. It's going to do what it's going to do on the hair, but it gives you an idea. And I'm just jumping in. I haven't done any strand tests, just basically because we want to get this done and for you to see it, but strongly recommended, especially on a client. On the mannequin, you already know that you can use a high lift, go in with, and just put it under the dryer. Possibly what I should have done was not put it under the dryer. and maybe it wouldn't have lifted to that. And that just now hit me, because heat also opens up that cuticle for that to penetrate, and that, you know, whatever you're doing is going to then exchange or bleed out, and that's what this did. It's just really strange. The other side is, when we did that, worked perfect, but this had more pigment. So sides 1 and 2 were, you know, there, 1 has less, 2 had more, 3 had a lot less, 4 had a lot more. Because here we are at complete removal of color, here we were at complete deposit of color. So that's where my phrase, if you don't know where you're at, how do you know where you're going? So we're gonna put, I'm really thinking about it, using a level 5N, possibly semi-permanent. I'm not sure yet if I'm gonna go with permanent or semi-permanent, because basically what I want is to deposit only. This is at a 5. This is, when you really bring it up in the sunlight, it's at about a 7. So when you bring this up in the sunlight, it's right at a 5. So
Want me to zoom way up?
that's where, yeah, if you want to zoom into it. That's where you know, natural sunlight reveals a whole lot. It's always going to look a little darker inside. It's always going to look darker wet. We know that. So I'm going to turn this around real slow, and for you to see it. And again, this is the side that we need to work on. So, and this is what's fascinating to me. I can still see, this one where it was really gray, I can still see some white lines in there. It just tells you something about when this has been lifted to that, it's going to say after a while, I ain't doing it anymore. That's it, man. So let's keep working on this. And again, for my students that were able to take it and make it all one color, I am even more impressed, because I was only with them. They did it. They performed the services. They did, you know, we would decide on the color. They would put it on. Sometimes we would soap cap it with lightener. Sometimes we would do as a high lift. It just depended. But it's amazing to me now, even more amazing how well they did, as far as we took it outside and looked at it. And I mean, they made it perfect. I'm the teacher, I should be able to make it perfect, don't you think? But then again, it depends on the product you're using. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and again, clip off, clip back on, and you've seen me with different clothes every day working on this. So, for, you know, like I said, I have a life, so I'm just kind of working on this, trying to get this video done, but we're not gonna stop until we get it right. So let's just see how it goes. And I, again, challenge you. Get the Tammie, do it. Let's see if you can do it. Now, those of you that take it to a level 4 or darker, you're cheating, because it's going to happen. You're going to lighten the black and then just put it on, and it's going to happen. But just remember, when it's out in the sun, even that, you may be able to see some variables. In a regular building, possibly not, but know that when they go outside or whatever, it's going to fade differently. This is proof of that. All right? So we'll see you in a bit.
Go.
Okay, so finally we did it. I ended up I kept getting that red tone, that warm tone, and finally we did it. I hope you can see it the same way on your end, but it's all even. I'm going to bring it down like this where you can see it. You can see the back. So that's all put back together. All those 4 colors are now one color. And it looks pretty good. It looks just a hint warmer on this side. And that's because I finally just stopped coming back and forth. I ended up using lightener, and I got a little bit, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's just a little light piece right here where I moved the hair with the lightener in my hand. But I'm not going to go in and correct that. But it looks pretty good. Amazing. You would not believe that this mannequin was 4 different colors. So I challenge you guys. I challenge you. Take yours. Take your Tammie Manikin let me know the areas that is difficult for you. I mean, this is just amazing. Is it difficult? Yes, because you've got different bases that you're working with, from the lightest to the darkest, and color on top of color. Think about when a client colors their own hair at home and they bring it out to the ends every time. Even on the lighter colors, the ends are going to be darker because we have color on top of color, building color. So good luck with yours. I feel real good about mine. So she came out pretty good. It's pretty amazing. But anyways, do share. Share. If you have videos, share your videos in there. Let's send notes back and forth. If you're lost, again, it depends on product that you're using. Like I said, I ended up more with a level 5. I wanted a 6-7. In some parts it is. On the ends, it's more like a 6-7. But pretty much it's dense, because I ended up having to use a darker color every time. So good luck with yours. Let me know how you do. Honestly, share. Let's get together on this. What you can teach others with your questions, with your formulations, your own formulations, your levels of color. Where are you? Because the common term for you is more the product level, where you're at on the product level. What are you putting on there? We know that all level 6 colors, it may be this means it's in the strength of red. In other words, it's picked up that strength pigment because it only has 6 levels of lift to it. So therefore, there's still pigment in there. Level 5, which is what we ended up with. Now let me take one of these other mannequins and you can see the difference. All right. So this is just a lighter level 5. This is a darker level 5. And you can definitely see the difference in them. This mannequin, of course, is not a Tammie, but it didn't have the 4 different colors for us to work on. But honestly, I hope this video helped you. I hope that, just the variables that we did on the choices that we made. At one point, what I did on this one, instead of going back and forth, it was just a little bit dark on this side. So I used a little bit of, and you can do this, do you know what a soap cap is? It's just taking lightener and putting shampoo in it. And then you just kind of run it all over the hair with your gloves, just kind of work it in, but stay there and watch it. Watch it lift up. And it's going to lift up to warm. So you've got to just be there, because if you're not there, it's going to take it to gold, even with water. Remember, developer is H2O2. It's only one more level of oxygen than water is. That's what causes the oxidation. All right? So I hope it looks the same for you as it does for me. You can see it, especially in the back. It's definitely even all over. The front is just a little bit odd, but it looks pretty good. So good luck with yours. Please share your information. Let's have fun with this. Let's all of us teach others on what happened when you took your Tammie and made her all one color. Now, if you want to take her lighter, that's up to you. If you want to take her darker, that's going to be simple. Just trust me on that. You'll see it. It'll a lot less application, a lot less, but do it where you can learn something. And it definitely is going to teach you about your product, how to use it, how does it work, what's the best thing for it. All right, so we'll see you on our next video. We're not exactly sure what we're going to be doing later. I'm thinking about doing some more hair cutting. If there's a particular haircut you want to learn, let me know. I'll look into it, see if I can't put it together for you. But let's go back and identify every one of the different parts of the head form, because then we do know what we're talking about when, in other words, where you're at to where you're going with it. Okay? Thank you so much. Take care, and I hope this worked for you. God bless.